Welcome in to Outkick the Show. I hope all of you have had a fantastic weekend. Let me know if everything is working fine on Periscope and Facebook Live. My name is Clay Travis. This is Outkick the Show. It is brought to you by Oddshark. Go to Oddshark for all of your gambling and informational related needs. You will be glad that you did. Gambling picks coming for today's show. We went 2-1 in gambling picks on Saturday. I didn't do any gambling picks on Sunday because I went golfing, and a lot of you saw how awesome my golf swing really is. Okay, let's go ahead and dive right into the stories of the day so that you are aware what we're talking about. This Cleveland shooter, unbelievable story around this Cleveland shooter. There's a manhunt currently going on, viral video. We will talk about that. We will talk about the NBA playoffs. I'll give you some gambling picks. We'll talk about the Preds dominating the Blackhawks and my inability to name more than 3 Nashville Predator players, which was quite an impressive achievement by me this morning on Fox Sports Radio's Outkick the Coverage. We will talk about Hulk Hogan tweeting the family and, let's see, my golf swing perhaps. But let's start with this shooting in Cleveland. I don't know how many of you follow me on Twitter. I'm guessing a lot of you do. I can see a lot of you on Facebook as well. I don't understand how this is not the #1 story in America right now. Maybe it's because most of you haven't seen the video. Now, some people got upset at me last night. You can get upset at me for any reason. I tweeted out the video to the link of this guy randomly murdering a man, elderly gentleman, walking down the street. And I told you, around here, I have tweeted out the links to lots of things that other people have found to be objectionable because I think the video is important to see in situations such as these. I tweeted out the link when the Virginia guy went on television. You remember that? The group of people was reporting from a Virginia lake and the shooter walked up and shot them and there was a manhunt and people were trying to figure out who it was. I tweeted out the video then. I tweeted out the video of the guy who shot the Dallas cops. Live on television on Fox News. In a less significant and serious issues, I have tweeted out the video of the Marcus Lattimore injury and also of the guy who hurt himself playing for Louisville. All of those times, I have also said this is a graphic video. You can decide whether or not you want to click on the link, read about this, and then also click on the link and watch the video. I didn't post it myself. A lot of people in this day and age say, oh, you're just chasing clicks. I don't think they really understand how clicks work, because when I tweet a link to somebody else's work and somebody clicks on that, I don't get paid for that. I'm doing it because I think it's newsworthy and I'm sharing it with you and you can make the decision about whether or not you want to watch it yourself. I'm not in the business of censorship. You guys know I believe fully in 2 things, the First Amendment and boobs, okay? When I see a video like that, I think it changes things. I think it changes things with the Ray Rice video, which I also tweeted out. If there were a video of somebody else behaving violently, I would also tweet that out. When Adrian Peterson beat up his child, I tweeted out the video to those pictures. I think pictures and video change the way people experience things as opposed to just the written word. When you watch that video, I don't have any idea how this guy is not the #1 story in America. And I'll tell you this. I think the only reason this is not the #1 story in America is because it's a black guy shooting another black guy. In all honesty, 100%. I think if a black guy had shot an elderly white guy, it's the #1 story in America. If the black guy had been shot by a white guy, it's undoubtedly the #1 story in America. But when it's a black guy shooting another black guy, as happens 93% of the time, I think the media looks the other way. I really do. I can't believe this guy is loose right now. He's clearly psychotic if you watch that video. There are people in danger anywhere that he is, and it's getting absolutely no attention. It's not even the #1 trending subject right now on Facebook, and the guy, maybe they're editing it on Facebook, I don't know. The guy videotaped himself shooting live on Facebook Live. Now, let me take a step back here and say this. I don't think Facebook is to blame at all. Some of you are like, oh, this is wrong, Facebook Live. This is not Facebook Live's fault. All that technology does is it allows one single crazy person to have a more impactful statement on American society than ever before. And let me kind of unpack that for you a little bit because it's a broad context. There have always been crazy people in America. by and large, you used to have to work really hard to be able to make a dent as a crazy person in American society or in world society. What we have created is such an interconnected universe today that if one crazy guy in France gets behind the wheel of a truck and starts driving, he can mow down a ton of people, and instantaneously we can all know about it. If a bomb goes off in Israel, it's on the local news 10 minutes after it happens. If a crazy person gets on Facebook Live and pulls out his phone and documents himself killing, executing an entirely innocent man who happened to be walking on the sidewalk outside of his car, it goes everywhere immediately in a viral context. That isn't the fault of Facebook. That's not the fault of Periscope. It's not the fault of our modern technology. All that is doing is providing us a window into what the real world is like. So when a lot of people reacted, you can go look at this video if you haven't seen it. You can go react to it as well. When a lot of people reacted by saying, oh my God, you have to take this down. Why? Why are you so uncomfortable with what really happened? I believe that when somebody commits a crime, we need to look at the cold, hard face of evil and understand what is happening in a story like this. Because I think merely reading in an article, this man wrote that this man got out of a car and shot a random stranger as he walked down the street, takes away from the reality of real life. I think it takes away from the graphic nature and the awfully psychotic and evil nature of what that individual did. And again, I can't believe that the fact that this guy is now out wide, unable to be caught. By the way, 6'3", 6'1", 240 pounds. He was, I believe, driving in a Ford Focus. That's where you need to be looking for him. We got people all over the country watching this show. I would encourage you guys to be looking. You know, it's crazy. It's like an Amber Alert to me. White Ford Fusion. To me, I'm sure he's ditched the car by now, and the fact that we haven't caught him probably means he may be crazy, but he's not a total idiot because he's been able to evade authorities for this long. Guys, when a story like this happens, I'm going to share it. And I think it's a real indictment of the media that this story is not number one everywhere. And the only reason I can think of for why it's not number one everywhere is because it's a black guy shooting another black guy. And the media has allowed those murders to take place without deciding that they matter, which in many senses of the word really is frankly racist of the media. Do you think about it? The reason, I really believe this. I believe that the reason black on black crime has become the issue that it has been is because it's not being covered in the media. Because the media doesn't cover crime unless there's racism involved or unless there's some hook that allows somebody to be victimized in a larger context. When a normal person is just walking down the street and they're executed, like this guy was in cold blood, to me, this should be the overall number one story in America, and there shouldn't be a close second right now. When you consider how much attention was given to the United viral video of that guy getting dragged off. Oh my God. I'm nearly dying here. This is like the worst possible allergy situation right now. All over Nashville, all over the South. I can barely breathe right now. Almost died there trying to do this show. My God, apologies if I've still got snot in my beard here. But here's the deal. Yeah, you just had to wipe off your screen indeed. You and me both. Here's the deal. This is, amazingly, I was in a really serious story for once of all. I just immediately erupt in a total, yeah, I'm the pollen czar. Pollen is everywhere. It's impossible to survive right now. We haven't had, I hate to brag, but the air conditioner hasn't been working on my first floor. I don't know where the air conditioning people have been. They haven't shown up for 3 weeks. Thanks, by the way. And they haven't shown up for 3 weeks. And I've been sleeping downstairs, and so I'm opening up the door at night, and as a result, I can barely breathe. It's nearly a disaster. I don't know why they don't show up for 3 weeks. I hate to play the I'm Clay Travis card, but motherfuckers, I'm Clay Travis. I got to be cold at night when I'm sleeping. All right. So here's the truth of the matter. It must be ESPN fans indeed. The truth of the matter is this. This murder that happened in Cleveland is 100% not getting attention that it deserves. And it's absurd. I can't believe it. When you watch that video, oh my God. Near death experience here. When you watch that video, we spent an entire week as a country deconstructing the laws of what was going to allow people to be seated or not seated in United Airlines, right? We did that 100%. 100% we spent an entire week. Oh, hold on. I think I got another one coming. This is going to sound incredible on the podcast, by the way. But I might die. You might witness a man. It might Facebook Live. There might be another man about to die on this screen. I don't know if I'm going to be able to survive this show today. Oh my God. Never had this situation actually happen on live TV. Although if it did, they could cut away from me. But when you're solo, you got no hope. By the way, I don't know who's in charge of pollen this year. It's the worst pollen of all time. I don't know how anybody's breathing right now. This is this is an incredible series. Nobody that I know right now can breathe all over the South. It's 100% true. You know what I do, by the way, to make my allergies work better? It actually works better than like Zyrtec and everything else out there. You got to go get. Hold on, I got another one coming. I thought I did. Hold on, I think it's coming back, but. Oh man, I don't know what to say here. I'll tell you this right now. If LeBron James had 4 sneezes this violent, he wouldn't play tonight. LeBron James had 4 sneezes like this. He'd tear an abdominal muscle. He wouldn't play tonight. And I'm gutting through this. I'm gutting through this like a champ. I get a tablespoon of honey. Tablespoon of honey is better than any other allergy thing. A tablespoon of local honey has got all the pollen that was collected. An old Southern man told me to do this. And it is so much better than anything else you can try. I think I did it live on the air. I was talking about pollen at one point live on my old radio show, 3HL. And some old Southern guy called in and said, you need to try a tablespoon a day of local honey. Local honey, not the stuff you go out and buy like generic, but somebody who has like been collecting honey from all the bees locally. And I'm telling you, it works unbelievably. It works unbelievably well. Works unbelievably, outstandingly well. Better than any allergy medication you can take. I'm telling you right now, go try it. If you're like me and near death, and by the way, that's the only time I've sneezed all day. Of course, it would happen live on the show in the middle of an in-depth discussion about the live Facebook murder. So here's the deal. Here's the deal on this. I'm telling you right now, this story would be #1 in America, and it's just totally died. Totally disappeared from the radar. I checked the trending messages on Facebook. It's disappeared off of Twitter. How in the world is this story disappearing? I think the reason the story's disappeared is because most people won't share the video. I think if they showed that edited video on the news, there would be a national uproar and everybody would be trying to catch this guy. Instead, most people, whether it's fair or foul, most people are only hearing a couple of paragraphs about a random murder that happened in Cleveland. Oh, wow, another black guy shot another black guy in the Midwest in Cleveland, and nobody cares. That's what I think happens. I think that's what's happening in newsrooms. They're saying, oh, people won't care about this. Let's look at the ratings. Black guy shoots a black guy, nobody cares. If a white guy on Facebook Live had walked up and executed a random old black guy walking down the street, it would be the #1 story in America. They would have showed the video, and it would be all CNN, MSNBC, and probably Fox News, too, are covering right now. Instead, the black guy shoots another black guy, and nobody even blinks, and they don't share the video, and there's no outrage, and there's no derision, and there's no anger, and there's no national manhunt underway to try and catch this guy. It's really unbelievable to me. And ultimately, what it does is it creates a strange sort of dynamic where the death of a black person isn't worth the news coverage unless it's the death of a black person at the hands of a white person, and which rarely, if ever, happens, but is covered as if it is a national epidemic. 93% of all black murders are committed by black people, and over half of all murders in this country are committed by black people. And I think the way that situations like Chicago occur is because, by and large, the media doesn't cover it. But here, we have an actual video of the murder. And if I learned anything from the doctor, the Asian doctor, that asshole who didn't get off the plane when he was asked to get off the plane, it's that if you have a viral video of anything like this, then it goes, and everybody talks about it for a week. It's crazy to me. It's on the front pages of media websites. People who say that really make me want to lobotomize myself. Do you think most people who are following viral news stories are getting on the front page of media websites? You think most people who are following really big stories get their news from going on the media? It's on the front page of CNN.com. You guys are fucking idiots. People get their news from TV. Things go viral from TV. As much as you want stories to get attention because they're on web pages, give me a break. This video, if you put it on and edited it, would be the #1 story in America, and it would be on constant repeat. They have made the decision to not cover it. And the only thing I can think of is because it's a black guy shooting another black guy. Because I guarantee you, if this was a white guy shooting a black guy, or if this was an old white man getting shot randomly, maybe I'm wrong about that, but I still think the same guy shooting an old white guy would be getting attention. I think that's true. So, questions that you guys have about that video, about this situation, then we'll dive into less significant stories. I have no idea what the reason for the live murder was. Again, I tweeted out the link. You can, if you want to watch it, I think if you watch that video, you will be in disbelief that this guy is not the #1 story in America, and that it's not being that the manhunt for him is not being obsessively chronicled. I really do. It is, maybe it's because it is the race involved, and a girl didn't make him go crazy. He was crazy, and he flipped out. I mean, I don't think any one individual makes a 31-year-old man go crazy. I think he was crazy, and probably the reason the girl didn't like him was because she knew he was crazy or had suspicions that he was crazy, and she ran away from him. Are you okay with death penalty for murders that are on video? You know what? That's a really smart question. A part of me says yes. A part of me does say I'm okay with the death penalty for murders on video. When there is absolutely zero doubt that somebody committed a murder, I'm anti-death penalty in general, and I've written about that, and I've said it for a long time because I worked in the criminal justice system, and because I saw that if you have a good attorney, i.e., Aaron Hernandez, who just got off for double murder, then your likelihood of ever getting the death penalty is incredibly low. Most people who are watching this show right now on Facebook or who are watching this show on Periscope would not get the death penalty. My concern about the death penalty is twofold. This answers one of them. One, I worry about whether or not we might convict people who didn't actually do it. If you watch somebody commit a crime on video, there's not really a defense. So that's eliminated. The other reason is I think it sends the wrong message. I think it's hard to be anti-violence when the state is propagating violence itself. Now, that's my personal opinion. You might disagree. And by the way, no, I've never used in my life ever a racial slur. But I also don't think that the worst thing you can do in the world is be racist or use a racial slur. You know what? Because I learned at a young age, I'm responding to a Periscope comment who I also blocked. I learned at a young age that sticks and stones may break your bones, but words will never hurt you. And I tell my kids that just about every day now. And evidently the rest of the country's forgotten it, because the worst thing that somebody can do is call you a bad word, and you curl up in the fetal position and disappear. And by the way, I don't need to get into an evangelical discussion, but the Bible teaches everything. All right. If you have actually read the entire Bible, which I have, and I bet the vast majority of Christians have not, I have read the Bible cover to cover, and the Bible teaches basically every possible homily. It teaches basically every possible different position. All right. The Bible contains the totality of human existence, and it teaches basically everything. So if you are going to argue, as many people have, that the Bible says that it's great to be a slave. The Bible also says that women should be subjugated to men. The Bible also says that you should not jerk off or you're going to go to hell. I mean, there are lots of things the Bible says that doesn't necessarily translate to modern American life. So if you begin your argument with the Bible says, in all decency and due respect to you, I could very easily respond, the Bible also says the exact opposite somewhere else in the Bible. All right, so you choose in many respects what you want to pursue, and you use religion as an excuse to pursue it. So the Bible says, I am not going to actually accept that as an argument. Personally, you can believe anything you want, But having read the Bible from front to back, which the vast majority of people who went to church on Easter did not done, I can tell you that the Bible argues all sorts of ridiculous ass shit. Okay? That's the truth. So if you haven't read it front to back, then choosing one or two paragraphs to make an argument is akin to not doing your judicial research and trying to win a case by only picking a couple of paragraphs. That's the truth. Okay, any additional questions about the Cleveland shooter? Everybody out there, keep your eyes peeled. There's now a 5-state region where he may be. I believe they thought that his phone pinged in Erie, Pennsylvania. So he's somewhere in the Midwest, although with the amount of time that's passed since he was last seen, he could be anywhere. I mean, he could be anywhere in the South. You guys know Cleveland, you can go in any direction, and he could be anywhere. So he's clearly crazy. If you want to go watch that video, again, if you watch that video, and it's very violent and it's evil, I'm telling you in advance, watch it at your own discretion. If you watch that video, I think that a lot of you will sit back and say, my God, how is this not the lead story in America right now? All right. Couple of other thoughts. NBA. Let's go completely not serious. Completely not serious. I am on the Cavs +8. I'm sorry, not the Cavs +8. That'd be a nice bet. I am on the Pacers +8. And I think that the Spurs are going to blow the Grizz out again. I'm about to have to sneeze again, too. So if you missed the earlier sneezes, you're about to have a real entertainment. I think that the Spurs are going to blow them out. So I'm on the Spurs. I think the line's around 10. Spurs over the Grizz. Tonight, the Nashville Predators have an opportunity to effectively eliminate the Chicago Blackhawks and go up 3-0 in this series. Pekka Rinne has turned into an unmovable object. He cannot be scored upon. This would be an incredible run for the Predators to get on to win 3 in a row. I think they win tonight. That game's not tipping off till 8:30. I'll tell you this right now. These NBA games tipping off tomorrow and Wednesday, I believe they're 9:30 Central Time, 10:30 Eastern tips. When you wake up for early morning radio like I do, my show is on from 6 to 9 a.m. Eastern, 5 to 8 Central, 4 to 7 Mountain, and 3 to 6 Pacific. It is incredibly late. I might, in addition to the sneezes, by the way, I'm going to go blow my nose before I sneeze again. In addition to the sneezes, which might kill me, I'm almost about to die anyway. With these late starts, this 9:30 start. I'm going off camera to try to avoid dying here. I'm back. Never before seen. I had to depart. Pollen so bad, I almost died here. Almost died there. All right, by the way, let me tell you this right now. NBA playoffs going and the NHL playoffs are going. Do you know where you need to go right now to get your tickets? SeatGeek. Go to SeatGeek, download the SeatGeek app just like I have. I think I'm going to go to the Preds game on Thursday night, potentially, to see them clinch against the Blackhawks. Make sure that you go to SeatGeek.com and or go to the App Store, download SeatGeek. Download SeatGeek, and you can get great, incredible offers for what I think is the best app anywhere to buy tickets. Whether you need concerts, whether you need game tickets. Right now, it is time for so many different sports to be tipping off. My guy Jason Martin went down to Atlanta for the first game of the Braves, and he used SeatGeek to get down there. I used SeatGeek to go to the Preds game earlier this year. I'll probably use it again. You can go down again to SeatGeek. Right now, you get $20 off. If you go to the settings tab, click add a promo code. Once you download the SeatGeek app, you put in the code OUTKICK. That's one word, OUTKICK, OUTKICK. You will be well on your way to saving a lot of money. Again, $20 off with SeatGeek. Go to SeatGeek, download the app. Again, go to the settings tab, click add a promo code, add the promo code OUTKICK, and you will get $20 off. You will be well on your way to saving a bundle. So my two gambling picks I gave you, I'll probably be at the Preds game on Thursday, but I think they beat the Blackhawks tonight. Good luck trying to get some naps in, being able to stay awake for the entirety of this event. Also, did you guys see my 2-year-old is able to name all the 1980s old school wrestlers? If you haven't seen that, go to my Twitter feed. It's pretty outstanding, including he called Rowdy Piper Rowdy Diaper. And in something that drove the Travis family boys absolutely insane with glee, Hulk Hogan retweeted the video and commented on it. The Hulkster himself, Hulkamania, broke out in the Travis household, brother. He retweeted the family. Go check it out on Twitter if you want to see that. I need to get Hulk Hogan on the radio show. That would be outstanding. And my 2-year-old naming all the 1980s wrestlers. Again, his brothers are obsessed with 1980s wrestling. We're working our way through the old school WrestleManias, including the ones where we got them in Atlantic City. So that was a lot of fun as well. Okay, I believe I have gotten everything. I've managed to survive here. My golf swing came in for a lot of criticism. I'm going to start doing golfing with Clay on Wednesdays. I think I'm going to start going golfing every Wednesday. That's my plan now that the weather has gotten better. No telling what it's going to do to my sinuses. I'm going to finish the radio show, and then I'm going to go hit my golf course. And I'm going to start to get some lessons, and before long, I don't want to brag, but I'll probably be on the PGA Tour. If I can shoot in the 80s with the swing that I have right now, there's no stopping me once I actually can swing like a normal human being as opposed to like Charles Barkley as a white man on the golf course. This is going to change everything. I hate to brag, but it's probable that I'm going to be in the 70s. I might win the Masters next year. As soon as my swing gets, as soon as I take a lesson, I think there's a good chance I'm going to win the Masters next year. I hate to brag. No doubt. I am Tiger Woods without the with the back that actually works. I'd beat Tiger head-to-head by a month from now. I hate to brag, but I'm going to be pretty much unstoppable. If I can hit it 250 now, if I can hit a golf swing 250 with just my arms, imagine if I actually use my legs and if I actually swing normally. Got to make it a 300-yard drive coming. Unstoppable. I'm telling you what's going to happen. Hate to brag, but I'm going to be unstoppable. Also, my glutes have gotten so much stronger. I do this CrossFit. My ass, I could crack walnuts with my ass now. Hate to brag, but my ass is incredible. Now, also, break out the triceps, bench 225. I just keep getting stronger. I'm like the dad in, what's the movie, the M. Night Shyamalan movie, where you find out that the dad's a superhero and he didn't know it. I'm like that dad right now. Dad strength, old man genes, just kicking in, carrying kids around everywhere. I got guns, the likes of which I haven't seen before. 100%. 100% unbreakable. I'm like Unbreakable. I'm like the Bruce Willis character in Unbreakable right now. Just laying down on the bench press. You can't add too much weight for me. My wife rode around the golf cart with me yesterday on Easter, and I was just driving over the greens with my pitching wedge. I had a pitching wedge 150 yards. How do I do that? Because I'm a beast. I've turned into a beast. Even though I can't swing a golf club right, I literally hit a pitching wedge 150 yards. You shouldn't be able to hit a pitching wedge 150 yards. That's ridiculous. It's a beast. Oh, guess who's getting blocked? I happened to look at the comments, and the Authority 8 is dead forever. I can do a lot of push-ups. All right, questions. Fire away here. My name is Clay Travis. This is Outkick the Show, and I'll be back tomorrow. You can listen to me from 6 to 9 a.m. Eastern on Fox Sports Radio. I'm the hardest working man in sports media. No, I don't think the Cavs are going to make it out of the East. If I were picking right now, I like the Wizards. I think the Wizards are the best team in the East. I watched all 8 NBA playoff games because I have no life. I watched at least part of all 8 NBA playoff games, and I thought that he was fantastic. I'm well. It's just I'm taken asunder here by the taken underground by the pollen. Grizzlies are not. I think the Grizzlies lose in 5 games. More on news, less baseball, hockey, do 80% news until football. Well, the news has to be good. I mean, we did do about 80% news. We led with the Cleveland shooter, and we talked for 20 minutes about the Cleveland shooter. The Warriors are going to win. I think they'll win in 5 as well. If I could clone myself and be prosecutor and defense, who would win? Depends on the facts of the case. Depends on whether it's a good case or a bad case for the prosecution or defense. Warriors are going to roll. North Korea update. I watched that ridiculous presentation that Kim Jong-un did on North Korea. They streamed it live on Periscope. I think the Washington Post Tokyo Bureau lady was doing an incredible job breaking it down. I am terrified of North Korea, and I think we have to take out Kim Jong-un. I think 100% we have to take him out. I think if we can take him out and reunite the Koreas, that Donald Trump would deserve the Nobel Prize. And I jokingly have said if we sent Michael Jordan over, I think he could get Kim Jong-un to give up North Korea. I actually wrote this down because I wanted you guys to have it. A lot of you are interested. I've read probably 5 or 6 different books on North Korea. And I'm fascinated by the country. You know, I just for a decade now or more, I have been fascinated in the country and totally blown away by what happens there. And several of you came on Twitter and asked me for a book recommendation on North Korea. And this is a great intro book. I wrote it down. Book Club with Outkick. A Kim Jong-il production is an incredible book. A Kim Jong-il production. It's about the kidnapping by the second leader of North Korea. Kim Jong-un's father was obsessed with movies. And it's a fascinating book. He kidnapped one of the most popular South Korean directors and one of the most popular South Korean actresses and brought them to North Korea to star in movies there and tried to argue that they were coming of their own volition. It's an incredible book. Most people don't know about that story, but it's also a great introduction into North Korean life and everything that surrounds it. It is incredible. A Kim Jong-il production is the book. It's on Amazon. Great reviews, incredible work. I would encourage you guys to go read that. It's an excellent introduction into life in North Korea. You speak so rubbishy shit. Well, I'm going to block this guy. First of all, you can criticize me for a lot. I'm an incredible speaker, all right? I'm in the 99.9 percentile on speakers. There are very few people who can get up in front of a room and command that room like me, all right? You can criticize me for a lot. Do I have man boobs? Yes. Is my beard not as fulsome as it could potentially be? Yes. Am I rapidly advancing towards middle age, yet still have the sense of humor of a 15-year-old boy? Yes. All of those things are very valid. But I'm a fucking incredible speaker. And I have great hair. You really can't criticize either of those options. I make a shit ton of money to talk. All right? Pretty good writer, too. I'm really good looking for a writer. I make a shit ton of money to talk. So that's a bad angle to decide to come after me on. You're going to lose that bet. You're going to lose that verbal battle. I will fillet you. I almost said fillet you. That's a totally different story. I will fillet you, and there is zero doubt about that. I will not be at the Preds game. I will be here at home watching it. I'm going to watch the two playoff games tonight. I will have all three games that I'm paying attention to, and then we'll be talking about them early tomorrow morning. I do have a smoking hot wife, there's no doubt. And people say, oh, it struck a nerve. You understand that I respond to questions as I read them here? It's almost impossible to strike a nerve with me. It is genuinely impossible to offend me. If it were possible to offend me, I wouldn't check every mention. I wouldn't have open DMs. I wouldn't give out my email address. Those things would all be true. So you can say whatever you want about me. You could be wrong and less successful. But I do try to read all of those, all the comments, and sometimes I respond to them. Additional comments. Who will the Titans take with their first round pick? I can't wait. I can't wait for the NFL draft next week, next Thursday. It's going to sneak up on a lot of people. If you haven't been paying attention, the NFL is going to take over the sporting calendar next week, even though the NBA playoffs are going on. I think probably the Titans are going to go DB at 5. I really do. And then I think they have a chance to get either Corey Davis or maybe Mike Williams at 18, because I think the DB class is so stacked that you go ahead and take whatever the top DB is you have on your board who's available at 5. That's what I think you have to do. You have to build for the long term. Marcus Mariota back out of his walking boot. I think you go DB at 5, whoever that DB is that they like the best. You sign the other new DB, and maybe you go safety at 18. I mean, I think you could go double DB in the first round. First quarterback gone. I think it's going to be Mitch Trubisky. I'm not sure where he's going to go, but I think Mitch Trubisky will be the first one gone. I think Deshaun Watson will be the second one gone, and I'm not sure on who the third quarterback's going to go. Here's my argument. I'm going to say this again on the show tomorrow. I think you have to take a quarterback. I think it's become like the college football. You know, college football every year, even if you have a great quarterback, you go out and you draft a new one. I think it's like that in the NFL if you don't have a top 10 or 11 or 12 quarterback. You have to go in every year and just draft one and hope that they turn out decently. Your cost relative to your success. I say this all the time. Like the Houston Texans are a great example. The Texans could draft a lot of people at the end of the first round, and if they aren't great quarterbacks, it won't matter, right? It won't matter at all to whether or not they can win once they get into the playoffs. If you find a great quarterback, then you have a chance to win. As good as he is, J.J. Watt doesn't win you games, okay? Doesn't win you playoff games. As good as he is, Jadeveon Clowney's not going to win you playoff games. As good as DeAndre Hopkins is, he's not going to win you playoff games. As good as I think Will Fuller can be, not going to win you playoff games. All that matters in the NFL is your quarterback. 11 playoff games last year, arguably the best quarterback went 11-0. You could make that argument. Every quarter, you didn't even need to look at any other talent on the field. All you needed to look at was a quarterback. If you got a top 10 quarterback, you can win a Super Bowl. If you don't, you can't. People say Trent Dilfer, long time ago. I'll make an exception. If you don't have a top 10 quarterback and you have the greatest defense to ever play the game, you can win a Super Bowl. Otherwise, you're not going to do it. All right. I love all of you. My name is Clay Travis. This is Outkick the Show. Go share it with your friends. Go download the SeatGeek app. Go to the settings tab, click add a promo code, put in the code OUTKICK, and you will save $20. I love all of you. We'll be back tomorrow trying to do the show right around 3 Eastern, 2 Central every single day. The schedule can sometimes get a little bit off, but that's the plan. Go set up your notifications on Facebook, set up your notifications on Twitter so that you get them directly. I love all of you. Here's the triceps on my way out. The lesson for everybody out there: don't be a pussy, and good luck surviving all the pollen. It nearly killed me today. I love you guys. See ya.